I got 11 top players to rank all the minis in Clash Mini, from the ones that will make you lose instantly to the minis that you have to use to get wins, starting with the tier. The minis you have to avoid, such as the guard. I have a very simple question. Why would you invest 2 elixir in a unit when you can get 4 and 5 of them for free every round by just using the Skeleton King? It just makes the Knight stand out more as the better 2 elixir tank, and I'll explain why he's way better later in the video. Then we have the Lumberjack. In this meta of healing and the build-up of damage, having a little boost in the start just isn't as impactful as before. But then we have the Barbarian. Am I having deja vu? Or is the Barbarian still here after months of very different metas? Well, I think it's safe to say that the rework to Barbarian did nothing. And last but not least, well, maybe least, we have the Witch. There's no way she can survive a meta filled with 2 DGs, being Dark Goblin and Dagger Goblin, with their both abilities, and the Wizard who can just splash through all the skeletons and take them out all at once. Moving up to the C tier. These minis are weak, but they do work in a few specific situations, such as the Ice Wizard. After a rework to the first star, he just can't slow enemies as effectively as before. There's not even a lot of minis in the meta right now for him to slow, because minis like the P.E.K.K.A have been slowly faded out. But then we had the Battle Healer. He's massively overshadowed by the Healing Ranger, by just about every single thing, especially their skins. I mean, come on. But I'll explain why she overshadows Battle Healer in terms of strength at the end. But then we have the Ewiz. Once again, the reason is Healing Ranger. I mean, just compare their skins. I mean, come on. Okay, seriously though, the Healing Ranger's unstoppable ability just renders Ewiz super useless. And since Healing Ranger is so popular, there's not a lot of situations where Ewiz could really do his thing. Then we have the Spirit Goblin. He just can't make a big impact anymore. The Healing Ranger can easily heal back up any mini that's damaged by the Spirit Goblin. And now the meta mainly relies on damage output over time. So the damage that Spirit Goblin deals at the beginning is nowhere compared to what you're gonna see later in the round. So it's no wonder why he disappeared from the meta. Then we have the Wave Master Jr., aka the Bandit. Despite the recent buff, nothing really changed for her since the last time we did this tier list. She's still suffering a lot from the massive nerf in August, I think. But last but not least, we have the Mega Knight. If you use it in your deck, just switch it with the Golden Giant. I'll tell you why he completely overshadowed the Mega Knight at the end. Moving up to the B tier. These minis are average and they do work well in 1 or 2 decks, such as the Archer. To explain why she went from the best mini to here, let's do a quiz. Is it because A, Barbarian King Super was nerfed, B, she's overshadowed by the Magic Archer, or C, Archer players were just distracted by this image posted by Clash Royale? The answer is A. The Archer really relied on that Barbarian King Super to ramp up that attack speed and damage output, but maybe C could have some truth. You never know. Then we have the Knight. After the recent buffs, oh, why did I pull Magic Archer? Then we have the Knight. After the recent buffs, he's now a good, cheap tank. It does what it's supposed to do to distract enemy minis at the beginning, and that could sometimes be quite tantalizing. Then we have the Giant Skeleton. I swear he's been in the B tier for like 1,000,000 times already. He just doesn't do anything special. He drops a bomb and gets out, and that's all you need from him really. Then we have the Swordsman, Mini P.E.K.K.A and Valkyrie, all the free elixir melee damage dealers. They can do decent damage and they all serve different purposes, though they all kind of split into their own sub niches. The Mini P.E.K.K.A can dissipate, and I think he's probably the best of the 3 here. The Valkyrie can do splash damage, and that means he can counter Skeleton King and its guards very well. The Swordsman has potential to chain supers and deal insane damage with his both abilities. But then we have the Dark Goblin. If you protect him well enough with something like the Healing Ranger, he can build up to insane attack speeds, and that can carry your entire team. But it really requires you to protect him safe, and that could be quite hard with minis like the Miner in this meta. And then we have the Bowler. He is a must-have in the Devil's Deal tile because he can just take minis out on that tile with just the Clash ability. Other than that, he doesn't really fit in anywhere else. Then we have the P.E.K.K.A. Funnily enough, the Barbarian King nerf actually had a bigger impact on the P.E.K.K.A than the P.E.K.K.A nerf itself, because now the P.E.K.K.A can no longer deal 48 damage per hit. Thank God for that. But now she's back to serving her niche purpose, which isn't bad, but she's just back to where she was before. Then we have nothing? Oh, Royal Ghost, there he is. The only reason why he's here in the B tier is just because of the bug. If you throw Royal Ghost using Wave Master, both of them get invisible, and this is impactful especially since the Royal Ghost invisible duration is buffed to 6 seconds. But even with that, he's nowhere near broken. You can easily counter that strategy. And last but not least, we have the Magic Archer. He used to be a must-have with Archer Queen, but now he's kind of replaced by the Musketeer Healing Ranger combo, and I'll tell you why that is way better currently towards the end. Moving up to the A tier, these minis are great and I would definitely recommend using them. Starting with the Mosquito, aka Dagger Goblin. He can do insane damage if you don't have the right counters, slowly building up the attack damage by killing enemies, and it also pairs very well with Shield Maiden, which is very popular right now obviously, because the taunt from her super can distract minis from targeting the Dagger Goblin so he can build up that attack speed buff again. And then we have the Miner. The first star rework to the boast ability definitely helped him. He actually had this ability back in season 1, and that is what made him absolutely broken. Now it's not as bad as that time, but you can't really ask for much more than what the Miner offers right now for a 2 elixir mini. Then we have the Fisherman. This is definitely the mini I have the most PTSD with. You can plan this intricate setup that will for sure ruin the enemy strategy, and boom, the biggest party people shows up and just pulls your strategy away. This is just the reason you need Prince in your deck to protect against the Fisherman and these sudden scenarios. Then we have the Musketeer. The buff did a huge favor to her, especially the 3rd star, because it was reverted back to the original one. I love this, honestly. It is such a great counter to Miners and Wave Masters and minis on the jump tile. It makes her so versatile, and she works great with Healing Ranger and Archer Queen. And now we have the Holy Guacamole here. You have to use at least one of the minis here, such as the Golden Giant. He is basically your go-to tank. Not only does he have a lot of HP, he can also heal you in so many ways. He heals from stuns, he heals when he reaches 50% HP, he even heals after he's dead to his allies. So this versatility is what makes him so reliable of a tank. And then we have the Prince. His ability to disposition minis is just so strong. He can ruin an entire setup just because an enemy isn't where he is supposed to be, and as I mentioned, he is really the only mini, the actual only mini that can reliably counter the Fisherman. And then we have the Healing Ranger. She's just so versatile. She has flat HP heals, which is very useful to low HP units like the Mosquito and the Miner, in contrast to the percentage heals that the Battle Healer does. And the Unstoppable 3rd star makes it super easy for her to counter stuns and slows. It's just a super simple solution to the evils, for example. But now, the moment you're all waiting for, the best mini is the Wizard. I genuinely didn't see this coming, but almost every pro agreed that he is S tier. Probably because not only is the splash damage super useful against Skeleton King and the guards he spawns, but the anti-heal also counters Healing Ranger and Golden Giant very well, and in turn that counters Shield Maiden, because Shield Maiden relies on heals, and Shield Maiden is very popular right now. And the extra area star can also be very dangerous, because it could splash onto enemy range minis and deal insane damage to them, so it makes your enemies super wary of how they place their minis. And all of that for 2 elixir, that's just massive value. If you combine that with this video, which completely explains how the reroll system works and how to abuse it, you can just get massive trophies and free wins, because you'll get all the S and A tier minis using and manipulating with the reroll.